Hello, my name's Ian Trott, I'm Baxi's Training Manager, and I'm here today to introduce you to the new 600 and 800 Combi and System boilers, our Baxiest boilers yet. We'll be talking you through what's in the box, we'll be going through installation, servicing and maintenance. We'll be sharing some hints and tips. We'll also be introducing you to the new uSense controller and our Internal Fit Flue. So keep watching to find out all you need to know. Okay, so now we're going to unpack the boiler. And for those familiar with our products, we've retained the vertical packaging, which means it's really easy to unpack it in a small area. So all you have to do is lift up the packaging. So the first thing you'll notice is we've moved to recyclable packaging, removing the old polystyrene. And of course, you get everything else in the box. We'll start with our installation guide. You'd expect that, and it's got your fluing guide in there as well. You've also got your valves that you're going to need to install the boiler and the tails. More of that later on. What we have changed is we've now got a user guide, a much slimmer version, easy for your customer to access all the information they would need. And it's also got a space at the back here, which enables you to put your details in so they can contact you whenever they need to. You've also got your MagnaClean, because this is the Baxi 800 that's included in the box, and your Baxi Easy Fill. And of course, you're going to need a hanging bracket, nice and simple. And if you're going to pipe to the rear of the boiler, what we've included is a pipe guide kit. So within the range, we have our system boiler here, and that comes in the 600 in 15, 18 and 24 kilowatts, and in the 800 it comes in 18, 24 and an improved 30 kilowatt output. And over here we have the Combi, and that comes in both 600 and 800 range in a kilowatt of 24, 30 and 36. We've improved the efficiency, it's now 94%, and they are certified open therm, which means if you need any certified open therm controller out there, it will work with our boilers. And of course, you're going to need LPG offering as well, and we have that across the entirety of the range. In fact, if you want LPG, you still buy the standard boiler. You convert it manually from natural gas to LPG, and you can convert it back again if you need to. No need for any additional kits. All in all, they're our Baxiest boilers yet. As you can see, it's on the wall now, a nice compact cover fit boiler with a centre flue. You get test points both sides here, so air and flue outlet. We've also got a handy test point for our Schrader valve for our expansion vessel, making it very easy to test. It is a compact boiler. It does fit in a standard kitchen cupboard. 2.5mm clearances either side. We've even reduced the clearances required at the bottom down to 150mm, making sighting even more flexible. Nice, easy to use interface on the front, very simple. And of course, if I want to put it in a kitchen cupboard but put pipes behind, I can do so with this boiler. I've got a nice little handy void in here. I'm going to get my hanging bracket, obviously, but what I also get is this pipe spacing bracket, and it's going to sit behind the boiler, and it's going to put the pipes in the right position to avoid the flue if you're going out rear flue. Also, you get copper tails in the kit, and they can go down or upwards. Standard 22mm or 15mm, so you don't have to use the tails. You can use standard copper if you want to. Your connections, this gas connection's got a gas test point outside of the case. And of course, on my water connections, what I've got, a nice water connection there to drain any water out if I want to. So overall, what I have is a nice compact cover fit boiler. We've reduced the clearances to make sighting even more flexible. And everything you need to fit it comes in the box. So now we're going to take a look inside the boiler. To access the boiler, it's just 2 screws at the bottom of the case. You loosen those off, and the case will just pull away. Okay, so looking inside the boiler, what you can see is compact, yes, but there's lots of room to get in there and work. There's no problem accessing any components. If I come from the top, what we have is our rainwater drip tray. Any rainwater coming in the air intake, that's going to collect in there and not get into the boiler and damage it. You can see on here, we've enlarged the tube, means that any water comes down, it will easily get down into my condensate trap, where it can be disposed of down the drain nice and safely. I've also got a stainless steel heat exchanger, and I've got this air intake here, and this air intake reduces the noise of the boiler, making it a really quiet unit. I've also got a 7-litre expansion vessel, and looking down, I've got all brass hydraulics. We know this is tried and tested, we know it's reliable. Fully modulating pump for efficiency, And if I'm looking at the wiring, all I have to do is bring my wiring through the grommets at the base of the boiler and wire into my really simple wiring block here. And one really nice feature is if I'm in a tight cupboard, if access is a problem, I can take this wiring block out, wire it in a more convenient location, and then just pop it back in. I can do the same for the 240 volt controls. And of course I've got low voltage controls, and it is fully open firm compatible, certified open firm. And of course it's got weather comp in there as well. So it's got all the latest tech, you know, and it's a nice compact boiler, but it's spacious, no problems accessing anything. Alongside the launch of the new 600 and 800 boilers, we're releasing an addition to our flue range. It's the Internal Fit Flue kit. It comes in two sizes, up to 470 and 690 mil. And what you're going to get the flue obviously, and you're going to get a new flue elbow, and this replaces the adapter. So the adapter will go and this sits on top of the boiler. You also have this lip seal. Now this is the large one. If the flue hole is a little bit bigger, you can use this one, or you've got this one we've already put onto the flue. This is a really good addition because it means I can fit the flue from inside the property. I don't need any additional help, and this is a weather seal. So I do not need to go out and point this up afterwards. So no need for ladders. So all in all, it retains all the benefits of our existing range, but just adds a little bit more. Okay, so now we're going to look at some servicing and maintenance on the new Baxi boilers. And obviously you'd isolate your supplies and then take the case off. And as you can see, what you've got here is it's a boiler that's, although it's very compact, there's loads of room to work on it, so it's really spacious. And there's a couple of really nice features in there. So for example, if you're changing the plate-to-plate heat exchanger, no matter how much you drain the water out, you're always going to have a little bit of water left over in the back of the heat exchanger. And we've raised the gas valve up here, so there's no chance of that being damaged. We've also got a nice little plug in the bottom of the unit. You can see that there, a little groove. Any water runs into the bottom of the unit, you can open the plug up, drain it into your bucket underneath. Remove any chance of that water getting into any components, any circuit boards, and damage them. Now, if I wanted to do a full strip service, I'd start by quite simply removing the electrical connection off the gas valve and the fan, not forgetting the earth tag. And then I would undo a connection here, a little screw there, and a screw there. That's for my silencer. Just loosen them off, you don't have to take them all the way out. Ease that to the side, and away it comes. And of course this silencer is doing a great job at keeping this boiler really, really quiet. Now what I'm going to do is undo my gas connection, and what you have in there is a standard 3/4 gas washer. So you're going to be carrying that. So you don't have to replace it if you don't need to, but there's nothing to worry about if you do. Then I've got 4 bolts. You can see I've taken a couple of these out already. 10mm spanner, undo these connections, and then I'm ready to take out the burner assembly. So disconnect my spark electrode and my earth, and you can see on here the spark electrode is really retained in nicely there, so there's no worry of that falling out. Then I pull this out, and you can see it's a modular unit. I've got my burner and I've got my spark electrode and sensing electrode built into one there, and I've got this seal here. There's no need to change that seal on a service. If you're inspecting it, you just make sure it's in good condition, make sure it's not flaking off or going brittle, and you can reuse it. And then I've got my fan assembly and my gas valve. Now all of these are available as a separate item, so you don't have to buy the whole combustion unit. You can get each item individually. Then I'm going to be looking at my heat exchanger, so I'm going to be putting a brush around that, cleaning it all out, pouring any water through there, and it's going to go down into my condensate trap and run away. If I need to remove the condensate trap, I quite simply take the tubes off the top, coming down from my drip tray up there, and I remove the connection from my heat exchanger, and then it's just one screw at the bottom. So I undo the screw, and then I can lift out the retaining bracket, and the condensate trap can quite simply lift out as well. So remove the condensate trap, and as you can see it's got a groove here, and that's where the flow pipe sits, just in here. And that flow pipe obviously gets warm, and it heats up all that water that's in the condensate trap. And what that means is when it is released, all the water, because it is siphonic, it's not going to drip out, it's going to release it all in one go, it's warm, and there's far less chance of it freezing in cold weather. So that's a really good feature on there. So all I'm looking at now really is, is everything in good condition? Are there any leaks? Are there seals that need replacing? And remember what I said about the gas seal being 3/4. Most of the seals are standard. There's no worries about having any specialist items to service or maintain this. Of course, these boilers come with a 7 and a 10-year warranty, but if they were out of warranty, all you'd need to do is contact Baxi Genuine Parts and they'll be able to help you find any part you'd need within the boiler. Okay, so now I'm going to run through the controller, how to operate the boiler and how to access the menus. As you can see on the front, we have 2 dials, the central heating dial and the hot water dial, and 4 buttons at the bottom here. The dials can simply be used by rotating them, and it's going to give me the temperature all the way to off. So I can go up to 60 degrees, or I can turn the unit off for hot water, and that's it. The hot water will be completely off now. Or I can turn the central heating dial up to 80 degrees, and again, off if I need to. Now, that can be used as a summer winter switch, and it doesn't affect frost protection. So you've still got your frost protection in there. Now, the buttons at the bottom, I've got a return button. I've also got reset, and then I've got my menu and accept. If I wanted to access any of these menus, I quite simply press the menu button, and it's going to give me some icons on the top. The information button at the top there, it's flashing, that's going to give me information about what's going on with the boiler, different temperatures. I rotate this dial. I could use the central heating dial as well. And now I've gone into the user menu. That's going to give you all the operations that a user can adjust, and they also be able to see things like runtime and temperature in there. I scroll it one more time, and now I'm into engineer mode. Now, if I accept that and go into that mode, what that gives me access to is all the parameters that I might need to change, for example, weather comp, or maybe flow temperatures. Once more, and now I'm into error codes. This unit will store over 30 error codes. So if you're going to a boiler and you're not sure what's been going on, you can look there and you can get that more information to help you better diagnose the problem. And then the last one, that's a counter. That's going to tell you run hours. So how long the boiler's been on for hot water, for heating, or maybe for frost protection. If I want to come out of that menu, I simply press the return button. So now I'm going to run through how to get into commissioning mode, or commonly known as chimney sweep mode. And it's really simple. All I have to do is press the reset and the return button at the same time. One note, if the display isn't on, just press any button to wake it up. Then I press and hold these 2 buttons for about 5 seconds. And what you can see there, I get a capital L. That's low rate. The boiler will fire on low rate. If I need to change it, all I have to do is take one of the dials, either dial, turn it clockwise. I now get a small h, that's central heating rate. Turn it again, I get a capital H. I'm now on maximum. I can scroll this up and down as many times as I like. So I can do my commissioning now. When I'm finished, all I have to do is press the return button. And I'm out. So really easy to get in to access for commissioning, for gas rates, and for doing your servicing checks. Okay, so now this is on to Baxi uSense 2. Now this controller will pair really well with any of Baxi's latest combi boilers. In fact, it will connect directly in without any need of a gateway. Once you've done that, what it will give you is Boiler Plus compliance immediately through load compensation. So it will talk to the boiler and make the boiler run at its most efficient. For the customer, it's a nice clear display and very simple to use. They can also control it via an app. So if they're away from home, they can still turn their heating on or off as it's required. So overall, a really nice controller, very simple to install, very simple to operate, and meets Boiler Plus compliance through load compensation. So there you have it. We've got the Baxi 600 and 800 range of boilers, coming with a 7 and 10-year warranty. On the system, we have 15 up to 30 kilowatts, and on the Combi, 24 to 36, both in natural gas, LPG, out of the same boiler. Compact boiler, all brass hydraulics, and certified open therm. We hope you'll agree they're our Baxiest boilers yet.